They're large cryptic predators that grow up to 20 feet, 200 pounds, and our native wildlife just doesn't have an instinct for it.
Killing pythons and other invasive species is Mike Kimmel's business, and business is good. Kimmel goes by the name Trapper Mike and the Python Cowboy on social media, where he has more than 250,000 followers across Instagram and YouTube. He owns Martin County Trapping and Wildlife Removal, and he was the winner of the 2020 Python Challenge. Mike recently joined us in the studio to talk about his work and Florida's problem with invasive species.
Even back as a kid, I would breed and possess a lot of these reptiles I hunt today. I had them as pets. I would sell them to make allowance. I really got into hunting a lot of these things because I love them. I love wildlife. I love nature. I love being out there. And I've really seen the decline in our state.
To the uninitiated, that sounds hypocritical, counterintuitive to say the least. Hunting animals you love to save wildlife. But it's true. The University of Florida estimates the U.S. spends $120 billion each year to combat invasive species. That total includes the damage, losses, and control costs, $120 billion. The state of Florida spends hundreds of millions of dollars. The python is just part of this massive problem. It's been reported that about 1,000 pythons escaped from captivity during Hurricane Andrew in 1992. Today, experts say their population is about 300,000. They are decimating the native wildlife of the Everglades, and they pose an even broader risk to the entire ecosystem of the southeastern United States.
You recently found a python with 45 eggs, and this is just really the tip of the iceberg. When you talk about, how prolific these snakes are and breeding in Florida, talk about the damage that pythons do in particular to the natural habitat in Florida.
These pythons, they've wiped out 90 to 99% of our small fur-bearing game out in the Everglades. That's raccoons, otters, marsh rabbits, and even all the way up to deer. We're seeing the populations just plummet.
It's just unbelievable what they will ravage when they're there. They're not native here. How it got in here, there's a long history of that. But the reality is they can exact serious destruction on the overall ecosystem.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has focused on the problem, starting the Python Challenge after he was elected. The state requires people to get online training and register in order to win the thousands of dollars in prizes available, while at the same time removing the invasive Burmese pythons from the wild. The competition is open to both novices and professionals.
What was it like for you the first time you actually did that?
Well, I grew up catching snakes as a Florida boy. A lot of us do, and it's just a much bigger snake. But for me, the adrenaline is kind of what it's all about.
Your fellow hunters that go with you, they try it, they attempt this sometimes. I don't know if I have the guts to do that.
I would talk you into it.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Python hunting is hard and time-consuming, but iguanas, they're a different story. Like pythons, they are a costly and destructive invasive species, but they're relatively easy to hunt. They are almost everywhere in South Florida, including right outside the Newsmax offices here. People pay Trapper Mike to remove these canal dragons from private property, and he offers guided hunts, along with his highly trained pack of dogs around the state.
They dig burrows, they take over native wildlife burrows, and just to give you an idea, the town of Davie, just a small town down here in South Florida, I think last year, the year before, spent $1.7 million, somewhere in there, repairing the damage from these iguanas along their canal systems, along their levee embankments. To give you an idea, these canal systems are crucial. The reason we're not in a swamp right now is because of these canal systems. They manage water, and they become ecosystems themselves to our native wildlife.
Enough damage to a canal embankment could lead to catastrophic flooding. We were able to terminate 6 of these green guys in the span of about 45 minutes, and we had Otto with us. Otto clearly loves his job retrieving and catching iguanas. Martin County Trapping and Wildlife Removal is a family business, and Otto is part of both, the family and the business. Mike's wife trains the dogs, and she holds the single-day record for iguana kills, 90. Mike's dogs also play a critical role when it comes to removing another one of Florida's problematic invasive species, feral hogs.
the wild boar tear up cropland, farmland, everything like that, and they put a lot of negative strain on our cattle ranches as well. But aside from that, I have a lot of these golf courses and gated communities that hire me. You know, these people spend a lot of money on their landscaping and these golf courses, and the hogs can come in one night and undo all that and absolutely destroy it.
What is so important about old Florida, the original Florida habitat? Why is that worth preserving?
Well, you know, we're definitely losing it. More and more people that move here, the more that's developed and everything like that, we're seeing old Florida disappear. And you know, it's to me, that's the Florida I love. It's not the beaches, it's not Disney, it's the cattle ranches, palmettos, you know, the old trees. And we definitely want to protect it because those are our last wildlands. Those are our last true ecosystems here in Florida. For our panther, for our black bear, for our deer and everything else. And you know, we definitely need to preserve them. Golf courses make good ecosystems, but I'd much rather see our original old Florida wildlands.
Saving the environment, killing dangerous and invasive species. It's all part of a day's work for the Python Cowboy, and it's also a lot of fun.
It's a blast. People come down. I've never seen people have so much fun. I mean, they go out there, they know they're helping the ecosystem. We may end up with 60 iguanas at the end of the day. I mean, it's nonstop action. Snakes, hogs, gators, whatever.